Okay, for the moment, the bulls are clinging to the upside here with the market up about 6.5 points, just 11 minutes to go before the closing bell.
Yeah, well, there it goes. Negative, but you can't say -1 is a bad day for the market. It is a flat day for the market. The NASDAQ is about the same, and the S&P is also trading a very, very thin line just above the flat line there, and volume, as we've said, is pretty low. Again, the questions are, who's trading right now? And the answer is not many folks.
So I'm going to refuse to ask the Santa Claus rally question because we're not even close to it. But the question then should be formulated as such. Will we see a Santa Claus rally between now and the 24th? We begin with Sandra Smith at the NYSE. Sandra.
Liz, after all the news that this market was dealt today, can you believe it? We're going to finish the day pretty much sharply unchanged, as I love to say. But this market was dealt bad financial news, bad housing news. But at the end of the day, we hit the lows of the day, I should say, when we heard from Fed's Chair Jeffrey Lacker, and he said that economic growth will be weak into 2008. Just to give you an example of what these traders on the floor are actually biting on. They are still concerned over the state of the U.S. economy. That is their primary concern here today, and there's no quick fix for that. As we heard from Teddy Weisberg earlier, he said housing is still the root of a lot of the evil in this market, and right now, for the foreseeable future, we don't know when that housing market may turn around. So right now we are going to be looking to finish about unchanged on the day. No real catalyst between now and then. Liz, David, I don't think a Santa Claus rally is anywhere in this future. Back to you.
All right. Thanks very much, Sandra. Sandra, stay with us as we bring in our panel. Let's start with Mike. Mike, is it going to be flat until the end of the year?
It's thin. You know, I spent 10 years as a floor trader. We'd probably be drinking something down there right now, so not a lot going on. It could, although I think, look, it's too early to say the Santa Claus rally is out. You could get that well, we got 2 weeks left to go. But I think 2008, once we got a clean slate, nobody likes to do anything new at this time of year. You're not going to get new positions put on the books right now, particularly in the environment that we're in. You start 2008, everyone's going to they're going to come back, they're going to take another look at the environment. There are bargains out there. Let's understand there are bargains out there. I think you're going to see a lot of money. There's a record amount of money in money market mutual funds now, over $3 trillion. It represents enormous buying power on the sidelines.
Jim, when do we see this rally, and will it come after the holidays like Mike Norman is suggesting?
I think you're absolutely right. I think the Santa Claus rally is going to slide into 2008 and maybe become a Super Bowl rally, a Valentine's Day rally. I think by then, I think it's going to be much clearer that this economy is not going into a recession, that we're actually going to have an acceleration of growth sometime in 2008. And I think when we're sitting here a year from now, we're going to be saying, wow, what a great year in stocks.
All right, and I know Peter agrees, so that's the end of discussion, right, Peter?
That's right.
Well, I doubt there'll be a Santa Claus rally. If there is one, I would certainly sell into it. More likely to have a Valentine's Day massacre than a rally in the new year. Look, the bombshell du jour, you had S&P come out today and downgrade a muni bond insurer to junk status. You know, there are more of these downgrades to come. This is very bad news for the markets. It's going to drive up interest rates throughout the economy. This is just the beginning of these downgrades. There is a lot of bad news coming. Yes, we're going to be in a recession. I think we're in one now, and it's only because the government statistics are not honest.
Peter,
but by next year, we'll all see the recession.
Peter, weren't you blaming guys like S&P for not seeing the implosion of the the CDOs and the housing market?
Yes.
Now you're saying they're the oracles and we have to go with their downgrades?
No.
Look, S&P downgraded Japan to the level of a West African nation in 2002. The Nikkei was at 7,400. It was a wonderful time to buy. What?
Yeah.
Come on,
well, look,
you can't have it both ways.
No. I'm not applauding these guys. They're finally starting to fess up to these problems. I'm saying there's more to come. There's a lot more downgrades to come. And yeah, I poke fun of them. They shouldn't have downgraded Japan. They should downgrade the United States. Our sovereign debt is junk, not Japan's.
And it didn't change anything, that downgrade on Japan. There's still the second largest economy in the world.
Because people probably laughed it off.
Well, wait, let me bring Jim back in here. The sovereign funds that are saving some of our biggest names, China saving Morgan Stanley for the moment, and we've seen what Abu Dhabi did. Do you think that this is the way of the future, at least the near future?
Well, I think other countries, foreign players investing in America, yeah, I think that's the wave of the future. I think it's a wave to be welcomed. They see value in America.
They do.
Even
They
people
see
like
us on sale.
Even if only Peter Schiff loved America as much as the Chinese sovereign wealth funds.
But we don't want to celebrate the buying up of our country. They're not investing in America. They're buying up our assets.
Peter, it's the way the market works right
yes,
now.
That's what happens when people are poor and they've borrowed a lot of money and they can't pay it back. Their creditors come back and collect their assets.
This is an equity investment.
Collecting our assets.
They're taking a 5% position in a company. We have mutual funds that hold bigger positions here. 10%. 5% the Abu Dhabi investment into Citigroup. You are exaggerating this thing. You're making it sound like they're picking up these companies and carting them off to China somewhere.
Just wait,
it's not happening.
Like treasure.
Mike, it's just starting. Just wait.
Are you sure you want to take that position, Mike? Because it sure looks like a trend now.
Take what position?
That this is not going to be a
I
long-term
welcome.
thing.
Listen, why shouldn't we welcome foreign investment coming into this
fine
country?
With that.
It's a wonderful thing.
But
and
Peter's saying it's just the beginning, and there are indications it is just the beginning.
It's a terrible irony that we Americans that created the greatest society on the face of this earth, we are so negative and pessimistic about ourselves, and other people from Arabia and China and all these crazy places are saying America's on sale is such a wonderful bargain, and we want to put our money there.
Mike, our fathers, our grandparents created a great society. They created a lot of wealth, and we squandered it. We blew it on consumption. We ran up trillions of dollars of debt.
Hey, hold on a second. Jim Pethokoukis, we got to remember it was this generation, or maybe generation, I don't know what you put it, but it wasn't our father's generation that created the computer revolution, which has increased productivity around the world by a factor of 10,000.
That's right. It's this generation which has created this knowledge economy, which has helped create this globalized world, which is bringing billions of people out of poverty and creating a wealthier planet and a more prosperous planet and a safer planet.
So, Peter, you can't dispute that. This generation has at least created the information age.
Well, first of all, don't forget about the Industrial Revolution. You know, a lot was accomplished back then.
Okay, we won't.
Sure, look, I'm not saying there hasn't been any technological innovation. That's what happens. But unfortunately, we as Americans have simply spent much more than that productivity. We have gone into debt by trillions of dollars. We live beyond our means. We owe the world a fortune. We can't pay it back, so they're collecting our assets.
Gang, we are going to leave it at that so that we can hit the closing bell, which is coming just a couple of minutes from now.